Okay, Shannon, I'm going to start with you. What do you make of Russ trying to cheer up LeBron and AD at the end of the blowout loss?
Skip, did you hear what this man said?
I think I did.
The man said, unfortunately, he wasn't in the ball game to help them out.
I know.
And, you know, he came there to try to help them out. Has he not played every single game of every Laker that plays in the game? He's the only one that's played every single game.
He leads the NBA in minutes played. Go ahead.
Skip, in his last 4 games, he's 14 of 51 with 14 turnovers. How is that contributing? How is that helping AD and LeBron? I get it. Because you know what? When he's at his moment, and Russ has lost all of his confidence. You watch when he shoots the ball, Skip, you watch when he tries to lay up, he drops his head. His confidence is gone.
Yep.
But when he's been at his lowest moments, and they've been a lot of those moments, it's been LeBron and AD coming to his defense when the outside world is beating him up, when the basketball world is beating him up. Those two guys have stood in his corner. Russ, continue to be Russ. Russ, continue to do you. You've been an MVP in this league. You've been one of the top players in this league. Stop second-guessing yourself. Just go play basketball. So he wanted to flip the roles yesterday and say, well, I wanted to be in there. Russ, you're not the sole reason, but you're a big reason. You're part of the problem. Skip, you could tell the way the game was going last night. They just refused to play any defense. How can you not play defense, turn the ball over like you turned the ball over, and think you're going to beat an elite team? We just watched them Saturday give up 67 points at the half to a pathetic Knicks team.
67.
And then you follow that up with, and I said, remember at the beginning of the year, I said, Giannis is the best player in the NBA. I don't think he left any doubt in anybody's mind last night with that kind of performance.
Well, he was definitely the best player on the floor last night.
On both ends of the floor.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he sent that message early, Skip.
Yeah.
Within the first 3 possessions of the Lakers, whop. He's like, there'll be none of that going on. There'll be no dominating inside tonight.
He just ate AD alive.
He did. Yeah. Skip. And then LeBron. Skip, did you hear what LeBron said? LeBron says we're not on that level, and we can't reach that level.
That's quite a confession, admission, right?
At some point in time, Skip, if you lie to yourself enough, you'll start to believe those lies. The Lakers had lied to themselves long enough. Once we get our group back, Skip, once we get healthy, let's see what we can do. They had started to believe those lies. The facts that they had omitted, they started to believe those facts. Bruh, you can't win like this. You watch in Milwaukee. Look how they play, Skip. Everybody understands their role. Bobby Porter said, I defend, I grab rebounds, I stretch the floor. Giannis said, hey, everything comes through me. Holiday says, you know what? I'll defend, I'll play make. Chris Middleton says, when Giannis is off the court, this is my opportunity to do my thing. Everybody understands their role. Connington.
Heck, Grayson Allen, he gets his role. He's pretty good for
He
them.
says, I'm going to defend, I'm going to knock down open shots. Connington, I'll defend, I'll knock down open shots. DiVincenzo, I'll defend, I'll knock down open shots. Everybody understands their role. But when it comes to the Lakers...
By the way, they fulfilled their roles.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But when LeBron understands his role, AD understands his role, but you get one guy thinking that he's still that player that's on OKC, that's in Houston, that's in Washington. He says, well, my role is to do what I need to do. No. It can't be that way. Everybody has to have a role to this. And Skip, when you look at it, Skip, it is what it is now. He's upset that he didn't play. I don't know how they've seen enough. They're going to try to end up moving Russ for role players. They're going to say, okay, what you got for us? Give us a Ouija board, 2 decks of Uno cards, Skip, and some dice, and you can have him. You've given up the opportunity, Skip. You know you're not going to get a all-star level player in return from Russ. At this point in time, maybe it's just to get the juju out of the building would be a godsend.
Yep.
I think that's where the Lakers are now, Skip. You probably heard the sound, but I could feel the booze every time Russ touched the ball. When he shot the ball, I can just imagine the Lakers, they want to win. And they don't care who you are. If you're playing bad, they're going to boo your butt. But, Skip, it's over, Skip. And I told you, I've been told you this, Skip. I said, they talk about, oh, we get 0-0, the playoffs 0-0. Bro, you're not going to make the playoffs. Skip, how you give up 67 to the Knicks and turn right around and give up 78 to the Bucks?
78 in the first half.
Skip, with 3.5 minutes to go, the Bucks were shooting 70% from the floor, 53% from the three. Giannis, Skip, is layup, dunk, layup, dunk, layup, dunk, layup, dunk. Giannis hits a three. Layup, dunk, handoff, layup, 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 layup.
What does every team say after they play the Lakers?
You can get whatever.
We got whatever we wanted, and the Bucks just ate whatever they wanted to eat.
Just put the ball in the basket.
Yeah.
You can get whatever you want.
Yeah.
Just make it. That's where they are, Skip. That was embarrassing last night. That might have been an all-time. That might have been for this year. There've been a lot of lows, Skip. This might have been the lowest.
Because obviously the opponent is a very good basketball team. The opponent is the defending NBA champ. The opponent has had some rough patches this year, but has finally caught some fire of late. The opponent is still playing without Brook Lopez, so you don't even have your big guy in the middle
right,
who can stretch with doing the stretch.
But Bobby Portis has been unbelievable this year.
He's been unbelievable, and he's getting to play a lot more because there's no Brook Lopez.
Yes.
All right, to your point about hitting bottom, I sat back in awe of this basketball game because we're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers at home in what used to be called Staples and now is called the Crypt because it is kind of the Crypt.
Yeah.
Crypto.com arena. It almost feels like that's what it is right now because they hit bottom in two ways. They hit bottom on the court and on the bench at the end of the game. I am in awe of the audacity of Russell Westbrook, who created a viral moment that we just saw. We could roll it again if you feel like it, at the end of the game. And from a distance, without knowing the backdrop of what was actually going on, I thought, is Russ actually trying to cheer them up? Is he actually trying to be a we instead of a me? No. Because after the game, he readily admitted, as we just heard, that I was trying to cheer them up, he was effectively saying, by telling them I couldn't help you because I wasn't in the game.
It's about him then.
Russ made it a me moment in what looked like a we moment.
Yeah.
And what I love the most about this moment is LeBron and AD want no part of it. They are either staring at the floor or staring off into space because they are not reacting in kind.
Right.
They're not giving anything back.
They never make eye contact.
No,
they never look up and says, okay, you're right. Nod in agreement.
There's no thank you, we got it, we're all in this
AD never lifts his head. AD never lifts his head.
And I don't blame him a bit because Russell Westbrook has turned into a clown show to me. And I never thought I would say that. But his dream come true, getting to go home and be this starting point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers that he grew up loving, living for, has become his worst nightmare because he has gotten exposed. And you realize he got sat again. He got benched again last night with 2:34 left in the third quarter. Vogel's, to his credit, this is where Vogel's winning back a little respect for me.
Yep.
He just said, I've seen enough of you. You are done for the night.
Yes.
And guess what happened, ladies and gentlemen? They go from 30 down, they go on a run. It was 37-28. They cut it to 10. I thought maybe your 4 points were teetering at that moment because to get it all the way to 10 with 5:05 left on a little Malik Monk dunk, I thought they had the momentum. And they had to leave Giannis in the game with 5 fouls, and Giannis said, no, I got this. And he scores 2 or 3 hoops down the stretch. He had 13 in the fourth quarter, and they needed the 13 to stem the tide and break the momentum and get it back. Well, Russ was watching that. So Russ was so obviously embarrassed. He was so ashamed that he had to make himself the center of attention by going down the bench to console 2 inconsolable teammates who know deep down that they are stuck with you. That's why they're inconsolable, is because they're staring into space or staring at the floor and not making eye contact because they don't want to look at their worst nightmare.
Right.
Because he has become their worst nightmare too. He is impossible to overcome. He is impossible to win with.
Yeah, and that's how Frank Vogel is coaching him now.
I know.
You keep making these mistakes, you're going to be over here with me.
Hey.
He's upset, Skip, talking about, well, I shouldn't have my benchmark. Bro, pro sports is about updating your resume. You don't get to say, well, I'm an MVP. I've accomplished this, and play bad and say, well, you still got to leave him in the game because you see what I've done?
He said after the game, I put the work in and I have a reputation.
Yeah, you do. No.
In the past.
Yeah.
In the past.
Your reputation is good and bad. You do realize you're a turnover machine. You're inefficient.
He said, I have earned the right to be in the closing lineups. How?
Thank you.
Where? Why? Doing what? He's a disaster.
Yes.
They always make runs without him.
Yes.
What are you talking about? So just to update his resume for you this year, Russell Westbrook is shooting 43.5% from the floor.
Mm-hmm.
From the floor. It's horrendously bad, but it gets worse because from three, he's now under 30%. He's 29.8%. That ranks 148th of 152 qualified. So he's only 4 from the bottom. He's your point guard.
Skip, this just goes to show you. Let this sink in for just a second. That 43.5, that's his career average. That 29.8, he's a 30% career point shooter.
Yes.
So let that sink in for a second, Skip. All he's doing is giving you his averages, but because we got seduced by the three-point shot, we think he's playing bad. This is who he is.
He was who we thought he was.
Yes! Yes!
Free throw percentage is now dipped all the way to 66.5%. That ranks 101 of 103. Only Evan Mobley and at the very bottom, Christian Wood, 2 big guys,
Yes.
are ranked below him. He's the point guard for the Lakers.
Right.
66.5%. And what did he do last night? 4 of 7 from the free throw.
Well, Skip, they were 18 to 30. That's let's just say for the sake of argument, Skip, instead of 18 or 30, you go 25 or 30. Now you might have a ball game. You might have a ball game. You never know because they cost themselves some games by not being able to make free throws in crunch time. Skip, I'm not going to put all of this. I'm not going to put all of this last night on Russ. We know what Russ has been, but I don't care until you start to defend some. Skip, I'm not saying everybody got to sit down in chairs for 48 minutes, but Skip, they just have it. It's a layup line. And you know what happens in a layup line? Anybody that's been to a game, the guys just lay the ball up uncontested. They dunk the ball uncontested. Skip, think about how many times we saw Giannis. Giannis was 8 of 8. He made 1 3, everything else was dunks or layups. Holiday getting to the basket.
He wound up 17 of 20. My God.
Everything dunks or layup. It's because they can't stop dribble penetration. Guys drive to the paint, kick, guys getting wide open threes. I'm talking about practice threes, open gym threes. That's what they're shooting. Or dribble handoff. Giannis get the ball, hand the ball off to Grayson Allen, he lays it up. Hand it off to Holiday, he lays it up. I'm like, does anybody want to just guard anybody? Triple.
This is where Vogel has lost me because his calling card, his signature has always been the defensive end.
Right.
He's been pretty good at coaching and teaching the defensive end. It's falling on deaf ears this year. Either they just can't or they won't play defense for Vogel.
They can't play. Look, Skip, you only got a really handful of guys. You look at AD is a defensive guy. AD can, he don't really finish, but he can protect the rim. You get a guy, Austin Reeves. He's an undrafted free agent. He understands that the way for me to get on the floor, Skip, is that I got to play defense. I got to do all the dirty stuff.
Yep.
But if you look at everybody else, what guy was ever been a defender? We understand LeBron is in year 19. He can defend a little bit here and there in spurts, but that's not what he is now. Monk, all these other guys. Ariza's old. Avery Bradley is old and small. Think about it, Skip. A lot of guys, you talk about winning the championship. Stanley Johnson's on his 10-day contract.
Yep.
They signed Avery Bradley on a Wednesday, and they played a couple of days later.
I used to think he was a pretty good perimeter defender.
Skip, he's older than that, Skip.
In bursts. You get bursts.
Right. And Skip, he's small. Holiday just taking him, backing him down, shooting over the top of him.
Yep. And Wesley Matthews was a Laker last year. Now he's a Buck.
Right.
And he's pretty tough on the perimeter. He can get down and guard people.
Right.
And now he rubs off on them. And yet LeBron's now ranked 197th in individual defensive win shares. So he can't do that anymore. So he can't inspire that side of the ball.
No.
And they have fallen as a team to 14th in overall defensive efficiency.
How they that high?
Again, that's a good question because they've sort of fluctuated 17 to 14 and back.
Right.
But last year and the year before, they were 1.
Right.
Number one, where did he go? It just felt they didn't have Dwight last night. I'll give him that because Dwight could have helped.
Well, first of all, you started that small lineup.
Yeah.
You go small lineup against Giannis and Bobby Portis. You got basically 6'11" and 6'10", and you start AD and you start Stanley Johnson.
Yeah.
Bobby Portis is a monster on the glass, Skip, and he can stretch the floor.
Well, once upon a time, he was the SEC Player of the Year, so he's pretty good.
Skip, like I said, I can't put all of this on Russ last night.
Yep.
Skip, they're not any good. Skip, I mean, look at the shooting percentages. Giannis was 17 of 20, 9 of 18 for Portis, 5 of 9 for Allen, 7 of 12 for Holiday, 3 of 6 for Collington, 3 of 7 for DiVincenzo. At the first half, Skip, they're shooting 68%, 68% from the field. How you shoot that in an NBA game for a half? Skip, not for a quarter. You see they made 9 or 12 shots or 9 or 13 shots over a run. Okay, yep. 68% over a 5-minute spurt. Skip, for 24 minutes, they shot damn near 70%. There's no possible way, there's no way you can tell me you're even attempting to play any defense if you let a team do that. You watch guys, they just let them turn the quarterback, and then they look at each other like, you're supposed to get in front of it.
So I will end this by adding a little insult to your injured pride. The Los Angeles Lakers now face the second toughest closing schedule in the NBA. So good luck with that, because they're going to have to fight for their playoff lives, as in even to be in.
Play-in live? No. You mean your play-in live? They don't play off. Play-in.
Okay, and now we come to a deadline coming up within, what, about a
tomorrow,
day?
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow at, what, 3, I think?
3 o'clock. Eastern. Okay, so we're 7-ish hours away. They have to get rid of Russ. By any means possible, at any price, at any cost, you just have to get out from under him somehow, some way, or you got no shot.
So what are we going to get? What are we going to sell? What are we going to get rid of him for? A song and a nickel?
You're going to have to pay somebody to take it.
Yeah, I mean, you make it seem like it's so. Skip, you know behind the scenes quietly, the Lakers have been trying to get rid of Russ. You know that. I mean, things seep out. They possibly thought this and that. But you know, they knew within the first 10 games, this wasn't going to work. You know. How many times you need to go on a date with somebody before you realize, Skip, we ain't compatible? You don't need to, Skip. You don't need to go out for 2 years, 3 years.
I don't know. I've done that a couple of times.
No. We go out the first couple of times, and every time, well, I don't want this. I don't like that. I don't want to go there. Why you watch this? Why you don't watch? Why you don't listen? Why? I don't hear anything on the television. Why you got to watch TV with no sound?
Yep.
Why is the dog on the bed? Whoa, okay. Thank you. I don't need 2 years of that. I need two days of that. All you needed was a couple of games. And you know what Russ was.
And you knew LeBron was wrong.
Hold on, wait a minute, Jenny, before you go. Hold on. So let me ask you a question. If you don't mind me asking, who put the Nets together?
The Nets?
Yeah.
We're not talking about
I'm just saying. I just want you to give that same criticism, because we know a guy that put the Nets together. How that's working out for them.
Okay, but that guy chose not to get vaccinated. That's how it worked out.
You got to fact. Hold on. What's Kyrie's history? Kyrie marches to his own drum. Basketball has never been the most important thing to him. You knew that. James Harden, when you signed him, when you traded for him, he was overweight, right?
I feel like we're going to need more time for the Nets. It's a whole discussion.
Okay.
The Lakers got one more game before that trade deadline. They're in Portland tonight. Will we
Portland might
have
get them.
Russ part of the mix in a little over 24 hours? We will wait and see. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.